Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game 3 between Team Freedom and Gossip Girl. I'm Llama Down Under. I'm joined by
10
PQMZ,
seconds remaining.
and I don't know what type of draft we have on our hands because it feels like first game, Gossip
5
Girls, they were
seconds
doing
remaining.
their early game thing, kind of. Team Freedom super outplayed them. Gossip Girls was like, screw y'all, we're
Reserve
going
time.
all of the big team fight ultis in the game and going super late. So, I don't know, do we see an Enigma ban? Do they just, Team Freedom be like, let's buckle down and outplay them again?
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick.
Enchantress.
Radiant team pick.
They're easier to execute drafts, and it's the wombo combo. It's kind of funny. I feel like
Crystal Maiden.
Dota has gone from
Radiant
something.
team
People
pick.
say this frequently. If you take any of the like top 30 teams right now and you have them play against the teams in TI1, any team right now would probably beat them because we have a much better understanding of Dota. And it's similar to how, with things like Lion, it used to be, somebody stuns three people with an Earth Spike, and we'd yell Ravage. And now it's like, you better stun three people, you're a Lion! So I think that
10
our standards
seconds
have
remaining.
gotten. I think, like, yeah. I think just also we've gotten, like.
5 seconds
Oh, people have gotten
remaining.
a lot better. So it is easier for them to execute those wombo combos.
Reserve time.
Death Prophet.
Dire team pick.
And I like this. These are two good ways to deal with the Enchantress. I wouldn't be surprised
Dire
if Gossip
team
Girls
ban.
do later on if they can get their hands on the Ursa as another way of dealing with the Enchantress, but right now they have a lot of good magical damage that doesn't care about her untouchable.
Radiant team ban.
Oracle, though, coming out from Team Freedom, this is a hero that actually doesn't have a great win rate, despite a lot of people thinking, he has good lane control, he has some very powerful spells, but his win rate's not great.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban.
Yeah, and
Radiant team ban.
PQ, I'm pretty sure it's a bug with the new patch, but if you can just check if your open mic is on Team, because you can all see that my voice is clearly on in Dota TV since there's a little talking
10
symbol, but we'll
seconds
check
remaining.
PQs. I'm
Yeah, mine's
pretty.
on.
Yeah, so people are reporting they can't hear us. It's probably a bug with the
Radiant
patches. We're really
team
sorry
pick.
about that, folks. So.
been on the entire series. I checked beforehand.
I know,
didn't
I
fuck
know.
up this
I was
time.
pretty sure you did it because we double checked it since all the things changed. But either way, Gossip Girls, they're saying, hey, going for that late game business worked last time. They're gonna get themselves a Spectre, and I really like these types of drafts. The hey, maybe Death Prophet pushes a few towers and gets everything buffed up. Helps the Spectre get buffed up by taking those towers.
Yeah, and on top of that, if there's an engagement for the towers that you're pushing, Spectre comes in, collects some kills, some assists, maybe even gets some tower gold out of it,
10
and
seconds
suddenly it just looks a
remaining.
lot better, right? I really like the lineups that, as you
5
say,
seconds remaining.
pressure and then have a way of falling back on either superior late game or heavy
Reserve
pickoff, and they
time.
can use that. And I think pushing is 90% of Dota right now. Being able to control
Radiant
lanes, control
team
towers, so that's why heroes like DP are just strong.
IO gonna be the pickup, and it's been a long time since I've seen Team Freedom run an IO, but also they've been playing in a lot of other smaller tournaments, so and okay,
Dire
correct me
team
if
pick.
oh no. Is this the support Tiny?
I'd rather it was like an offlane Tiny, but
That's also not
either.
really a thing.
No, I think it can be. Imagine like a Centaur, right? Obviously Centaur's better offlaner because he's 0 armor, but it's a similar thing where you're not picking it for
10
the ult in this
seconds
case,
remaining.
but look at everyone on Freedom. They are squish.
5 seconds
One tiny
remaining.
combo at level 6 pretty much kill them for the first 15 minutes of the game.
Reserve time.
And you've got the CM for the aura, so he doesn't have to go mana based, he can CS with Boss if needed, if he is an offlaner. I like the idea behind it. Top of that, if you are really, really good at the hero, you can use it in ways of like setting CM ult, you can really toss DP away from things, like bad engagements. In even more, so her spirits just suddenly melt someone. I really like it. I think it has a lot of potential to be amazing this game. I feel like I'm going to be disappointed, but I'm going to hope I'm not.
Wow, PQ, you just really know how to flatter the teams. I'm pretty sure
Being
you're already gonna be
realistic,
disappointed.
boys.
Let's set our expectations low. No, I don't disagree with you. It could work. I'm just a little concerned. We've seen some teams trying to run this offlane support Tiny, whatever this one's gonna be, and I worry if it was just for the block pick. You know, Freedom can just pick up a Chaos Knight or something.
I don't think it's even like a block. That never even entered my mind, honestly.
Radiant team
Because
ban.
I think it does a lot for their liner. It's just slightly out of everyone's comfort zone. So it's gonna look like a really strange off the wall pick, but I can see it working. I'm pretty sure you can pull amp, toss, the
5
offlane.
seconds remaining.
Could be wrong on that, and maybe like certain things
Reserve
happen.
time.
So you used to be able to do a lot of things like that. I'm not 100% sure if you still can because there were a lot of weird bug fixes that happened, and a lot of them were small things. For example, you know how you used to be able to TP at like opposite ends of a tower and it wouldn't check if somebody had TP'd in?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that has been patched, so you no longer can do that to get 1 second off your TP.
That wasn't a bug though, that was like an abuse of mechanics.
They thought it was a bug. Technically, it was a bug because
That's
if you look
bullshit.
at
Like,
no,
that
if you
was...
look at the coding, it was actually a bug. The guy who coded it made a mistake, so it was a bug.
But wasn't it like a range on the TP? So like 600
Yes,
range,
so
you could TP
he
like
calculated it
650.
wrong. Right, he picked the wrong number, so it's a bug.
Wow,
Because it's
but
not meant to
that was
be.
like a legit pro mechanic that good players
Yes,
could use. I
yes,
actually hate that. That's
it
pissed
did
me off.
factor in a number of games. So I think it was just definitely something they decided
but it
was a
punishes
bug.
bad teams in it. But not even bad teams, because it's got nothing to do with like your skill as an individual player. It's got to do with like so many factors. But regardless, it's fix it won't be a factor this game. But even if you
And
can't
never
like do
will
the
again.
offlane pull, you can just go mid and pull. You can have two supports, or well, one support going bottom to help the Spectre. One, well, the CM can jungle in that time, so you can be like super efficient. If it is a support Tiny and it's on an offlane, Tiny can still do that. I don't know.
10
I
seconds
really want
remaining.
this to work, and it's really good against Ember because Ember can't man fight
5
into the
seconds
cells from
remaining.
Tiny. The shield just goes down really quickly. And it's DM or
Reserve
DP
time.
nuke on top. Goes for shield going down.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good tools on Gossip Girl, a lot of good teals too. You know, Death Prophet, good color. But they can deal with this Ember very effectively, since, as you said, you can knock that Flame Guard off with all of their nukes.
10 seconds
Enchantress is
remaining.
also someone who is pretty much only susceptible to nukes because of Untouchable,
5
and
seconds
Io as well. If
remaining.
this Tiny gets a blink, he can blink onto the
Dire
back lines
team
and blow
pick.
that Io up, and now Lich picked to make sure that if you're tethered to someone, they're getting chain frosted. I like it a lot.
And it much allows the offlane Tiny to be a lane pressure instead of a hero that's just leeching and getting what he can. Does the option for them to do some really weird laning though, like if they did
10 seconds remaining.
Spectre mid as a possibility. Cause doing dual lanes, I
5
don't think you
seconds
want CM
remaining.
Spectre against Enchantress. It is doable because you can freeze the creeps, but
Reserve time.
still
5
feel like
seconds remaining.
I actually it might be okay. Maybe I'm overstating it. And then they just do Tiny Lich, playing TP mid and go for standard lanes. It could work. Yeah. Yeah, I probably am. So, Enchantress will be not as high impact as you like, but you'll get levels. Shouldn't die on the off lane. Unless the Lich rotates in, or there's some runes from the DP.
And we'll see exactly how they manage to play it. Obviously, as you said, might be some lucky runes helping them get something, but other than that, I'm liking Gossip Girl's business right now.
They have the clear-cut way to win the game as well. They have the push from
10
DP and
seconds remaining.
timings from Spectre. Obviously, when Tiny gets a blink,
5
you can up the
seconds
tempo a
remaining.
lot. But the possibility of two supports being very defensive through like Glimmer Capes, Force Staffs, Lotus Orbs as the game goes on. Freedom, you have to win the lanes. You don't just have to win them, you have to rush them to the point where your
Prepare
cloth
for
is level
battle.
6 and their mid is level 4, and you kill him without your ult, he TPs kill him again. Because they don't have a way of pushing towers outside of tier 1s, which any lineup can put. They don't have a way of securing Roche easily. They have the Enchantress to tank it. They don't have the. They're gonna have to win a team fight or some really heavy ratting one lane to force multiple TPs to then buy enough time for a thing. I wouldn't even say their team fight is that much stronger. Cores are like super mobile, which is really good for them. The lockdown from girls is pretty much just for Tiny and whatever DP goes item wise. It yields into silence. Biggest thing for them to worry about.
So I feel like down bottom,
30
Eagle was trying to do
seconds to
something
battle.
fancy. He poked his head out to see if he saw anyone here. He first dropped his wards so that hopefully they wouldn't have a good idea, you know, if there was a ward there, or whether he'd placed or not. But, of course, there was no ward down there, so didn't end up mattering too much.
It gives them the info though, I think, that they can secure this rune, which is gonna be pretty big for the Ember. I'm actually
battle
surprised they're
begins.
putting the Ember mid. I feel like it really badly against DP. Every way. You can never play aggressive on her without the support.
It's also especially difficult these days. I think that with the old DP, you could run an IO against her maybe, but now if you run two heroes and mid against a DP, that is just another target for her to easily get the Spirit Siphon off onto to heal back up when you're being aggressive.
And on top of that, if you fall behind on levels, it just matter. I like the fact that they're not doing the dual lane because of dead. Yeah. They also have adjusted their lanes, it's free to do something slightly clunkier, which actually makes a lot of sense, because falsely said, the Ench might be able to apply pressure. Instead, Oracle definitely, expecting a single CS if they control the lane here. The other lanes have to really well still, because Spectre doesn't need to get farm in this game for the first 5 minutes, I feel like. When he gets good farm, he can control the game himself. can be like a 2 or 3 position hero that eventually like is online.
And she'll catch up, that's the nature of Haunt. You make one little overstep if you're Freedom, or even just Tiny manages to get up an early blink and is comboing people, and Spectre comes in with the Haunt for the last hit or the assist gold. She'll start getting up there. Lots of options. Tiny isn't getting the hugest amounts of farm either, and Enchantress, I mean, the Enchantress and the Tiny are getting
He's
equal
just
amounts?
missing it though. It's not like he's being pressured, he is actually missing the CS.
Well, that's not great. There's going to be a little bit of a frost blast out onto the IO. Of course, this lane should pull back towards goals. There are Lich being so present in it.
Kind of just like it. Lanes should farm fairly equally, barring like really good Enchantress creep. As you say, like the lane will always come to him, matter if he's missing some CS, because he should be fine under the tower. Tiny's actually decent at it, and he mostly needs levels. He gets level 6. Anyone in this game die to him. Level 8 especially. It's easy for him to play this game, I feel like.
Well, we'll see if Gossip Girls can manage to pull it out. I have to say, both of these games, their drafts have been really good. Obviously, Bloody Nine standing in, drafting for them. Should be interesting. I mean, just as a team, as the team goes on longer, I don't know if he's going to be added to their roster, or what exactly.
You wouldn't
is the
let
plan.
like a pure stand-in draft for you, I don't think.
Maybe it's your tryouts for them. The 4 of you like each other.
So it's not a pure stand-in. It is a.
We're gonna have a little tether onto the Death Prophet. She's going to take a bit of damage. As we talked about that Spirit Siphon just getting her out of any sort of trouble. She took a lot of damage there and just healed all of it back up.
You have a window now though where the Siphon's down, so if they can exploit that, that would be when they go.
Oh, they're gonna toss out the stun, but Spike has the healing wisp. Do they have the damage? He's going to out-heal them. 2 points in those healing wisp, and he's already almost right back up to full. Has a salve afterwards to boot. Meanwhile, Juice taking a lot of damage from this Quap, running up, looking like she wants to scream, manages to get it off. But they've frozen her under the tower. There is a dagger at the ready, but the tower, too many other things it's interested in. And Gull's not really able to take advantage of her dive.
At least they're securing the Spectre some last hits under the tower though, because she was getting nothing at the lane and it wasn't under the tower.
Oh, Spirit Siphon coming out onto Sunbee, but WWD needs to be careful, taking a lot of damage now that his Spirit Siphon is over. Doesn't have another one up. Gonna turn around and throw out the Crypt Swarm. Sunbee in a little bit of trouble, but both sides not able to seal the deal.
Especially in this lane is so minimal until Ember gets his 6. And even when DP gets 6, it's like harder to kill her and she does a bit more damage, but unless you're already overcommitting, you're not dying to a DP.
Yeah. And Death Prophet going to just be poking around, getting some CS up. And I mean, as you said, I don't expect this mid lane to be the exact place where a lot of action goes down for the moment. IX Mike has been getting a lot of space all of a sudden up in top lane. I like this rotation by Freedom from the standpoint of if IX Mike can get more farm, obviously he'll be much more of a presence early, and I think potential to punish the Spectre.
Yeah, they really need to be ahead after this laning stage. They haven't developed like a massive lead yet, but managed to use December 6 to get 1 or 2 kills in the next few minutes. I think that's really going to put them in ahead. Continue playing they want to for the rest of this game.
Oh, Juice taking a lot of damage, but the heal up the deny!
That's legit, actually.
Really well played there from Bloody Nine. I'm not sure if there was another tick of heal coming through, but either way, Bloody Nine not leaving that one up to chance. Just making sure his ally was dead, and Ember Spirit now in a lot of trouble in that mid lane. WWD ends up taking return harass, but as you said, this Ember has to be careful. And he actually hit 6, has not... Okay, yeah, I was about to say, he hasn't skilled up his ult. There's a problem there.
That would be like horrific if he died because then you hotkey to skill up his skill.
Yo, it happens.
Or he missed a kill because of it. That would
Yeah,
be
he couldn't.
worse, actually.
He could not skill his ult there, so he actually may have missed a kill there. We will never know. Impetus is coming out of IX Mike, and interestingly, they're still just diligently running these 2-on-2s on girls.
Until they get their items, really happy for the lanes.
Bloody 9 is the first blood. There's gonna be a blink in scream coming out from the Quap. She also has a haste to help her out. You were saying?
Alright, they might not be really happy with how the lanes are going right now, but they don't have a rotation that makes lanes change. Maybe the CM can move around, but she feels pressured to go bottom right now and unfortunately pays for her life with it. But until Tiny gets his blink, Spectre Haunt comes out, DP gets an item, they're not really heroes to do anything yet. Whereas Freedom, Enchantress can move, the Wisp and the Oracle, but turn potential. December's also getting a TP, so he can pretty much go to any lane and make a kill happen right now. If he wanted to. Know that they really have to use, otherwise it'll might just be a case of girls getting to their window and Freedom no longer being able to contest it.
Yeah, suddenly some scary late game on girls, although Ember Spirit, he can go super late as well. And especially if this Spectre, she is sitting at 19 CS. She is 5th on the net worth. She, hasn't had the easiest of game here for Juice. Oh, but Bloody 9 coming in with the freeze. They're just gonna go for it. The burst damage is enough to pick off that Quap. She got a little bit greedy there. She had the blink available, but chose to walk it. I don't know if the if the animation for that would have gone off, but
yeah. Suddenly, the Spectre's fine, but it is fine if that makes sense. Like
it's released a lot of pressure.
You would like your Spectre to be swapped but equal to the DP who has like net worth in the game right now, but she doesn't need to be there.
Oh, Quap though coming in. There's gonna be the Remnant bomb, but the Soul Siphon, it's getting everybody right back up to full, and now here comes the Horde. Sunby, can they pick him off here? There's gonna be another screen. WWD still using that Spirit Siphon. The first to go down will be the Quap. And can we just discuss how I think that's the skill that's getting a nerf next game? Bloody 9 will still the regen, will still manage to get Searing Chains up, just goes for the TP since Searing Chains is down. We'll be on out.
Might be a huge overstatement, but I think Freedom just kind of threw the game a bit. That's really big problem, them not having their ults for 2 minutes. They want to be getting like 1 kill for that. Turns around that they actually end up losing instead of gaining.
Game is still, I mean, it's pretty even when it comes to gold. There is a bit of an experience lead for girls, but nothing that a team fight even, or like someone bombing efficiently, a failed smoke gank wouldn't change.
Yeah, like that's the thing though, like I was saying, Draft, I think you'd agree, Freedom need to be ahead at this stage. Girls, no one's manipulating the pace of the game yet. Maybe they are through like their draft, but not through like their movements. One smoke that they're doing right now, that's the first thing they've actively done in the first 10 minutes of the game. Everything else has been counteractive to what Freedom have been doing.
Oh, and now Freedom
it
are gonna end up losing IX Mike. Can they do this? Yeah, he doesn't have the wisps on CD. Mike, it'll take a while, but he should go down here. He's juking though. Oh no, they've decided to kind of go up. They do the toss, and there it is, the burst. Coming out of Lich. Enough to bring down that Enchantress. They did lose bottom tower though, for girls.
The case of like, they were probably losing that anyway though, getting the kill helps them out a lot. It's like the first movement that the Ember's made, and
I do not know if it's a good one. Prempo, okay, Searing Chains isn't gonna hit on anyone. There's gonna be some help from the IO, but Death Prophet is here, Spirit siphoning away onto the IO, and they just didn't have the support yet. Finally, backup has come in for Freedom. Another Spirit Siphon going out onto Francis, but he's gonna have to blink away on that Quap. And they're TPing up the Oracle, but too little too late. If Freedom turn this around, it'll be a miracle.
they've got the wraparound from the Ember.
Yeah, he's gonna
Look like getting caught.
And
Face to
all
the Spectre.
I'm not sure whether it was the first game, maybe the second game tilting them a little bit for freedom, but this is not the freedom we saw in the first game who massively outplayed their opponents. They do manage to get a pick up on the CM, and they should be able to convert this into a tower kill.
2 HP away from their TP. It doesn't fill you with confidence that your Ember can't even kill a CM. But okay, nearly can't. So.
X might come in, and there's going to be the stun. They should have the toss back if they want it. He'll be just in tower range, so the tower will try and help out the Crypt Swarm. And there's the Lich Hold, just making sure that Fluffy-tailed woman is dead in the ground. Spectral Haunt is going to end up coming out. Where has she jumped into? It's looking like she's going in onto the Oracle. Spirit Siphon slowing down that hero. Sunbeam now in a little bit of trouble, going to Remnant over to the side, and that should be the end of it. There is no blink yet up on this Tiny. So that's all they can do.
So good for them.
And goals, I mean, under Bloody Nine's leadership, pulling ahead.
That's a hard thing to claim. It could be anyone
that's
making
what
the
we're
calls,
going with.
but...
This is completely different. No, that's not true. They looked very out. When they played against Alcon, it looked like Alcon was on another level. They have definitely pulled things back, but again, it's hard to tell is that through Freedom's mistakes or because Girls have actually played a little bit better, drafted a little bit better.
It's actually just like 100% draft. First game, they were pressured to do things. And then third game, Freedom aren't as pressured this time to do. They do have some way of playing in the late game. Their way of playing in the late game is just Ember one-shotting things with double rapier. It's a very risky way of playing, so they don't want it to go that way. Can go that way, but you wouldn't draft expecting it, or at least I hope you would.
Freedom do get a burst of wind when they get things like the Dragon Lord, the Ags. Oh, we actually are just murdering liches. Never mind.
That's a good thing.
Excellent. Yeah.
Everyone hates Lich.
Oh, Lich.
Also, can I just note that the Enchantress killing Shan?
Yeah.
Something that's really paid off like a few times where he didn't die. Being able to utilize like his side camp or any utility from the creeps is like, now he could have an Alpha Wall for Frost Armor for like towers or just something so that his team feels like fight more.
I feel like it's what's the point of the Enchantress if you're not going to use the creeps as well, right? Why not then get some other type of hero?
Yeah, I agree with that, but they didn't pick it and it's kind of being counteracted for a lot of nukes. You can understand the difference in style, but having Enchant just feels like, I don't know. It makes it so much easier to push these tier 1s, just like 2 creeps. And its brother. You know, the shitty magic of this. That helps so much.
They will manage to find something with that smoke. Unfortunately, only a CM. They do manage to place the deep ward, but since CM died near it, she might just immediately deward it, figure things out, while Death Prophet gets the mid tower. So, again, this Spectre, she's only 4th on the net worth, but it's much closer, you know. Before, where she was like 1,500 gold behind the next person, she's now 4th, very close to that Quap. Although, Quap, thinking about coming in on this, gonna decide against it.
Most importantly, the Tiny's now got his blink. So, this is where girls are starting to feel that they can actually do something here. It's like they're going for a smoke with the sports. They're chilling by their tier 2, one of them. Maybe they just go and deal with it. Regardless, making something happen now. They're not relying on Freedom coming into them and making a mistake or being able to counterplay it. They can go on the front foot now.
Yeah. I think 4 goals, as you said, deciding exactly how they want to take these next engagements. Their Spectre, even though we're saying has been catching up, she's got drums on phase boots. This is good, but it would be okay, never mind. We have an engagement. Oh, okay, the easy stun onto Oracle, and now down bottom. Sunbeam is trying to be sneaky. There's gonna be a relocate in, but oh goodness, not those were not the remnants you wanted. And which oh, okay, Sonic Wave coming on through. They're going to throw out the ult, and CM just ulting as well. Suddenly the Horde paying off. Sunbeam has no remnants because he used all of them. Searing Chains will come up, but the auto attacks will secure the kill.
To the cold grave.
I think the poor using the remnants as nukes not paying off again for the Ember Spirit, who's now forced to go phase boots and not bots.
Right.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that was the worst thing that could happen for them. This rune that sets up a gank turns into them dying.
He should be able to get a kill onto the Tiny here. They do manage to get that. Looking for another on Spectre, but she is away, has the drums, gonna just dagger on through. And IX Mike having a hard time finding her, but there is no mana actually on Juice here, so the balls, maybe, no, the balls just end up going down. Doesn't matter. Juice actually is dead, most likely. There is not really an escape here, so they will get themselves a Spectre. Very unexpected.
Kind of just like sloppy sequence plays from both sides, so it kind of equalizes at the end of the day, but going back to what I said, needs to be ahead at this stage. Then they're not even ahead in experience, they're not ahead in gold, they're not massively behind by any means, but you could almost read into the fact that they are behind because they need to be ahead. They're getting some items coming out now, like the Ember's got his Space Drum, so this is the stage where he's able to play like more aggressively than he would be able to do at the 25-minute mark. Enchantress will withdraw how much damage as she will until she gets like level
Nice
11.
stun up on the Quap, and with the Lich Frost nuke, it's gonna burst him down. Frost Blast. Just as you talked about, Tiny now at the stage where he gets to have a field day.
And I was gonna say like Pop going the Yules again gives her some ability to do things, but she needs HP against this lineup. She has point booster, drums, hell, an ogre club, and a point booster. She lives there. She's a hero that really she's on top of her net worth for her team, but her impact is just so low. Wants to be ahead. She wants to be level 11 right now. She's level 10. Well, will be in like one creep. But
How do you get back into this if you're Freedom, right? We know they're behind. We know they're not into a great spot, but they do have an Ember Spirit. You don't want it to go Divine Rapier Battle Fury action, but obviously Battle Fury crit. They have good high ground defense. Is that enough, or are they?
I think their biggest hope right now is, as you said, they have decent high ground defense, so girls aren't going to feel most inclined to go high ground, but 20 minutes away, maybe 10. But their biggest chance right now is using the fact that Ember plus Swap are really good at pushing out the lanes on their own in terms of not getting caught. As long as the Swap can see where the Tiny is, safe, care where the Tiny is as long as he's got his shield up and the Remnant. I suspect could haunt after he remnants, but too greedy with how he uses them, he'll probably still be able to get away. And that's their way of belonging in the game to the point where they actually have items.
Oh. Death Prophet.
They have to do it for 20 minutes.
And they pulled them out again. Horn comes out. This isn't going to be helping this tether. They're trying to keep IX Mike alive. She's actually should be able to Healing Wisp up here. Sonic Wave comes on through. They managed to kill off the CM, but will it be enough? IX Mike does end up popping. The Exorcism flying out on all of them. 3 already dead on Freedom, and the other 2 forced to back on out. They just don't have the damage between them yet.
I think needless to say that is not their course of action to get back into the game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They have smoke.
Yeah, just walking where they have no vision is like really scary when they're coming up the hills into a flanking position, I suppose is their idea there, trying to
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
utilize that aspect, but it's just, they're not strong enough to do that. They really just have to play hyper conservative, get the farm they can, give away as little as they can, so that when this Ember goes Manta or Battle Fury next, gets that item, not 1,000, 3,000 ahead of him. Maybe he's on par because there hasn't been a lot of kills happening. Maybe they could even scrounge a Roche or contest a Roche. Basically have to outplay them with map. Can do, because girls don't have the best lane pushing heroes.
Okay, and we're gonna see a smoke gank attempt onto Juice. They should be able to get this kill. They have a lot of burst damage. Spectre will go down, but immediately Oracle has been picked off, and the Death Prophet not quite done yet. Spirit Siphons, another one available. Working backwards, taking extra damage from this Enchantress, but it looks like They do not want to go without their Spectre. When the Spectre's up, the Haunt will be available, but in the meantime, Freedom gonna take... Oh, okay, Tiny just comboing down, one more punch, unable to get it. The Quap will get on out, and now the rest of the team is wrapping around, still 25 seconds on that Spectre, and suddenly WWD in a lot of trouble, trying to Spirit Siphon and heal up, using it on two of them, but there it is, that CMO of Dreams going out. IX Mike being healed up by the Wisps and the Tether. Will it be enough? He's starting to throw out those impetus hits. Frembo manages to miss his spells, but doesn't miss the toss after he blinks right on. And Kiko, he's looking for a way out, but Blink will be ready in 7 seconds. He goes for the Tether TP play and should be just fine. But again, girls getting something where they shouldn't.
It was so good by Freedom as well, like, trade the Oracle for the plus a smoke. Not the best smoke, but kills are probably the only thing they can get from their smokes right now, so I don't blame them for using that. It's like resource, you might as well tap into it. Right, they can look for. Ideally, they don't lose any, but smoke was kind of being baited by girls, and still worked in Freedom's favor. Then they force the TP's mid, which opens space bottom. They decide to fight mid instead of the space they've created, and it just backfires into them. Okay, they only lose an Enchantress, but that was still like a second engagement or so. Ember could have just been bottom that entire time. You know, clear out 3 creep camps, clear a creep wave. Suddenly, he's got 500 more gold.
On the upside, he's not too far away from his Battle Fury. He's about another 1600 gold from it, and he can sell that shield, of course. I just think that he needs, on top of the Battle Fury, at least a crit and then some luck to top that guy off, because they just don't have the damage. Sonic Wave not doing enough work. Aghanim Scepter looking like going to be Quap's next pickup, and I think they need it because the push is coming.
He also needs a BKB this game at one point. Personally, he can go for something like Manta. He's going to have to rely on his Wisp and his Oracle because it's too much farm to expect out of him at this stage. So, Battle Fury, Blink TP, I think would be the way. Then you also have to worry about, like, you kind of want your bottle, you kind of need Wand because of how much burst they have. That you need time to let your Oracle get in range for the ult, or you're
Oh, the stun onto IX Mike, and the Spirits again not quite able to seal the deal. But we're just seeing the power of Gossip's heroes against Freedom's lineup.
It's only going to get worse, while I feel.
Yeah, I mean, the gold graph, take a look at it. After those few bad engagements for Freedom, it is shooting right up for Gossip. Only 5,000 gold and experience ahead, but if things continue this way, of course, Spectre just punishes those mistakes.
This is a really nice idea from them, though. They smoke up, go for the Spectre while they know Haunt's on cooldown. Sorry, not Haunt, Exorcist. There isn't the big fight mechanism.
She's come out a little bit. Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains does manage to go off. Sonic Wave as well as the burst and the relocate just in case. Haunt not enough, and only Hannah. That is murder with great prejudice.
That's pretty much the only play they could make, and maybe wrote out of it. Really good heads up by them. Now, they might not secure this tower, but they're getting a good amount on it. And they freed up space, because now they're going to see after 3 of the heroes go in creep vision, all of girls are there.
And it's a over 1,000 gold swing in favor of Freedom. You know, it's not a small... Not only is it a kill on the Spectre, denying the phone for her, it's not a small amount of gold going into their pockets either. So, gonna be happy day.
Pop getting it, so again, saying she needed items. Her eggs in 100, which makes her immune to the Tiny killing her. She still has to worry about the TP, but she's got heals on that end, so... Unless there's some outplay, I don't think she can die anymore due to, like, arrows. 3, maybe. That will help a lot, because then it makes it better... Girls just having the Tiny go in and then maybe a Haunt or one of the supports, like having to commit more, which means you're showing less on the map, which means Freedom can read into that one way or another. Yeah, if you can't see someone, that's good information. If it's been off the map for 2 or 3 minutes, that's long, but you get the point.
Yeah, they've got some good wards for vision. In Freedom's case, you know, they should see some rotations, potential smokes, and so on.
Literally just aura smoke as you say that.
Yeah, so that should help them out a lot. Something I'm a little concerned with is Zayek's Mike, unfortunately. I mean, he's still going no points in that enchant, and his farm, I don't know whether it would be better with enchant, but either way, it's dropped off. He had a really great start, hasn't been able to capitalize as much as I think he'd like on that.
Yeah, I just can't see a reason you wouldn't put 1 point in it. It is probably one of the best 1 point cells in the game. Scaling is it's mostly the slow on heroes is good as well, but
Generally used for the creeps, especially with there being so many creeps that are OP early game. Cough cough, Satar Tormentor.
I mean, I can understand with the lane he wanted as much like heal as possible, but buy an additional Fairy Fire, buy an early Bracer, buy a belt that is going into your treads or something. The enchant can allow you to get that through farming. So, I don't know. Regardless, I can understand why he's not going for it now, to a small extent, but, you know, Aura Creep is good. Like, he just gets a Wildkin or something, still giving his team armor, suspect just hitting for like, I don't know, 10 less a hit. It might cock up at 1 point instead of the 2 stats.
Yeah. Either way, Freedom, they have no smokes, nor does Gold, although Freedom has one coming up a cooldown shortly. So we won't see any rotations. They'll sit back and farm a little bit. IX Mike now working on that Aghanim sector. There is already a mech up on the IO. This is quite a bit of sustain when you look across their team. Then you also add in the Oracle, who can double the healing in that ult. So maybe they can outlast Gulls, but it seems like a tough ask.
I think the big problem is they don't have this straight up frontliner that uses the outlast really well. They don't have a Spectre, they don't have Bristleback. They have an Ember who wants to go in and out of the fights, use Slight from the edge, go in with Remnants when Josy's on the front foot. So ideally he's not even taking damage at that stage. Maybe he's getting hit by a few Crypt Swarms which are getting mitigated, but he's still not dropping.
We
Same
discuss. Oh, you were gonna say it. Yeah.
No, it's just the same thing with Pop. So they don't have a front to use that sustain on.
I don't think I've ever seen a Tiny build this. Obviously the carry Tiny is a lot more popular than the offlane Tiny, but I really like this. Again, going something like the Veil, it gives you a lot of great stats, even though he's not an int hero, but it's going to buff up his mana so he can combo frequently, and then Aether Lens buffs him up. Also the Veil helps a lot with their team. I just think it's kind of cute itemization.
I think the Veil would have been a lot more valuable than the Aether Lens first, but I do agree. I think him going these items is good. I wouldn't be surprised if he just like saves up for something like a Hex now.
Yeah.
Play this pure initiation utility role, which is what he was picked for, regardless of the fact he's really a fairly hard carry and goes into kind of scaling. Not his role this game.
One of the wonderful things about Dota, it's an incredibly flexible game. Even with the same 10 heroes picked in a game, we might not see the same game ever. So, while all of this is happening though, Freedom hiding Eagle and Francis trying to find something. They saw the CM and the Lich come around, so I think they were hoping that they could get some easy support picks, but it's not looking like it's landing.
Ward scouting out, it's pretty obvious the Roche is going to happen. This could be make or break for Freedom. If they like go for this Roshan test, lose the fight heavily, go really badly for them.
Instead, they're just going to secure themselves that top tower. They really want to make sure they get it. I think understanding, as you said, it's the Roche for a tier 2 trade, the classic Dota 2 trade. And this Aegis will be going down. Oh, he tries to steal it. A Q play coming out there, while on the sidelines, Frempo unable to kill off the Quap. There's still an Oracle, yeah. He's going to TP all the way out. And Spectre just going to continue to farm up. Speaking of Spectre, what do you go next? Oh no, I spoke too soon. Sunday is somehow caught in the middle of them. Not 100% sure what happened there. I don't see if he has a remnant up. It doesn't look like it. He's throwing them out, trying to get over to the side. But one more auto attack. The horn comes out. There's a dagger flying after him, and he will be brought down by it. Spectre's still able to follow if she wants, but decides against it. Did you see how he got over there?
He definitely like went on the end to try and get a kill, but maybe he didn't ram first and realized Going for that was the entire thing where like the Wisp and Ench relocated top to go and get the tower. The Ember like just TP'd away to try and snatch the Roche. And they might be feeling slightly, maybe not desperate, but they will feel the game slipping away from them one way or another. So that slightly higher risk play to not go for an extra wave, not get 500 gold and contest the Roche, I can understand. Staying around there and going for stuff like that, I feel like he needs to be playing like consistent, make sure he's getting farm, take the threat that actually going to be a problem as the game goes on. It might sound like really small, but if he has an extra 500 gold for not going for that Roche snipe, and he's not in that position getting cut off, still alive, maybe he's 1,000 gold ahead now.
Yeah,
2 minutes, that might be a crit, or a half of a KB, and then the H's push comes, maybe he's that slightly bit bigger.
I agree.
I think it's
It adds
like
up.
small things. Not winning the game in the next 10 minutes, they're winning the game in 30, 40, likely.
Yeah.
They're gonna win through like outplaying them in the late game, which is where items you argue matter the least, but you have to get there, and items matter for getting there.
They're doing a good job. While they were doing a good job placing some wards, their smoke broke though, and now this ward should be immediately dewarded. Actually, 10th Frempo gonna help them get the kill on Eagle. Pops that ult, but you're not escaping, and actually just buying a lot of time. Hopefully his team can take advantage of this and farm happy.
That's the most annoying thing about Oracle in this situation. Like, he
fallen.
just buys so much time. You know, that's a 1 mid. Otherwise would have been denied if he didn't press his ult there.
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do. Finally, a nice remnant away coming out from the Ember Spirit. And I mean, as you said, if Freedom want to get back in this one, they have a long way to go. IXMO picks up the Maelstrom, which I think is that classic, okay, we might get raxed pretty soon. Let's make sure we have some defense against it.
I like the idea, but I feel like it's not his job to be doing that. He uses creeps, now he's actually skilled.
Okay, we're gonna have a stun pick up onto the Quap, and the Haunt goes out. Will they be able to find anyone else? They've already killed up the IO just with the Spectral Haunt, and now she's jumping back into it. Sunbeam gonna be there. There's the buyback coming out from both of those heroes, and suddenly WWD needs to get on out of there. Impetus hits will do a lot of damage. There's a Yules to set things up. Where's the rest of her team? Frempo could go in again. Has a Shadow Flame and a Blink, but not. Oh, there he goes, finding the opportunity. He's gonna get some burst damage. But a beautiful Sonic Wave on through. The CM ult is flying as well as the Lich ult. It's gonna make a dieback on the IO, and now Acta in a great spot just to help the team push the tower. Has 6 own charges, only 5 now. Gonna heal everybody right back up. Again, just Freedom on the back foot.
Their only safe race here is that girls really have like bad tower push outside of Exus now, so it might not be a full Rax, but still control of the game, and that's exactly what they need.
Oh, the stun unable to hit, so not going to be able to catch that big Bishop Sunbeam, but as you said, this is control of the game firmly in Goals' favor. The Sonic Wave comes through since it's the Ags, it can go on any time. Blink in, Searing Chains does quite a bit of damage, remnanting away. Sunbeam has to buy as much time as possible on that Ember Spirit, but they are going on the range tracks, actually, just sending in the illusions. And Goals, unlike last game, showing some restraint. Oh, Searing Chains hits on
dive
juice.
is like risky.
Okay, they're gonna get the toss out. He remnants away again, but Eagle, he's gonna be caught in the crosshairs, and the auto attacks just rip right through him. They can't be doing this. There's a blink ball that's into the side of Sunbeam. He has no way out, and he's gonna burn down. There's no buyback on him. They're actually
too much of desperation plays.
And Exorcism back up. This will easily be a Rax, maybe even a Rax in the middle lane as well. They're gonna find themselves a Quap. Should be able to blink on out, is able to get out. But of course the Exorcism burning through things. Haunt is back up again. That's how long these team fights have been. And she's gonna stand right next to the Enchantress. DP doesn't care about your Impetus. And this should be Ike Smite's death as well. And then easily a Rax or two. They're going. this mid tower instead. There are no buybacks on Freedom. I'm not sure that an Oracle is anything that'll stop a Rax from going down here.
You could W the racks maybe, but look like game called traditional North American fashion. Connect like
Dire's middle
GG.
tower has fallen.
No hate, please.
We'll just assume that that's a patch error. We'll lie to ourselves. So
At least he reconnected and said GG. That's
yeah,
making amends.
exactly. So we're gonna be seeing Gossip Girls kind of defy expectations and continue in this lower bracket of the Epicenter qualifiers.
I have to give credit 9 for that because first game he picked something. They realized it was him, but it tricked in someone's mind that it wasn't working, and then they went for more late game, less pressure on them to make big plays, and really